The angry expat says, "Why didn't anyone tell me about this?" Hello and welcome to our Retire Early lifestyle, where we're going to keep telling our viewers what it's really like to live abroad. Have you ever seen on expat forums or in articles where expats adamantly say, "I wish someone would have told me about this"? Or they'll say with defiance, "Why didn't anyone talk about this in the forums?" Then they go on to say how they wasted their time moving abroad because the expats didn't tell them something crucial. What? Whoa, now. We've been telling anyone who will listen about what it's really like to live abroad for 13 years and in 2,000 videos. We strive to tell people everything up front before they buy the postcard because that's what sells is the postcard. One such woman was so unhappy after she moved to Cuenca, Ecuador, because no one ever told her the weather can get cold and cloudy for a few weeks. She was like, "Why didn't anyone tell me?" She went back home. She didn't like the weather. Weather was one of the first things we talked about on our channel, among other annoyances. So enough with that. Let's get started with the video. We're going to tell people loud and clear that when things start crashing, you'll want to be in your own country. There are exceptions to every rule, such as if you speak Spanish and have actual real friends that have your back. That means you trust them and feel totally comfortable around different cultures, then moving to a foreign country might work out for you. On the other side of the coin, if you don't know the language of the country you're in, it might be a little bit challenging when it hits the fan. When 2020 hit, we watched expats hurriedly get on overpriced emergency humanitarian flights back home to the USA or Canada. It was the only way out, and the flights were sold out and slim pickings. You won't believe what people were paying to get out of Dodge. This is clearly a sign that most people are not interested in weathering any storms in their newfound paradise. When things come crashing, they will make for the exits. We've even had expats tell us that is their plan if and when. Thumbs up for their transparency. As you know, in emergencies, people tend to look out for themselves, and once that is accomplished, they tend to look out for their own before an outsider. So who is an outsider? Let's be real here, okay? An outsider is someone who looks different, acts different, talks different than the majority of people in the society you happen to be in. The outsider in a society may be a foreigner who appears to be struggling with the language and is having day-to-day challenges just trying to pay the utility bills or the internet without the help of a local. Yes, this is a real thing when you go abroad. We realize everyone's situation is different, and so we're speaking from a general point of view here, not the few that seem to thrive living in different cultures, love change and meeting new people and living in different ways wherever they go. It's usually a younger person who is not yet set in their ways, but there are exceptions to that also. They can be older too. Maybe that's you. For most of us more mature folks though, the ones that have had a long time to experience what we enjoy in life, whether it's that daily afternoon cup of cocoa, or that special brand of ice cream, or a particular brand of sneakers that fit our plantar fasciitis just right, or, well, you name it. I'll tell you, for us, living abroad does not give you the luxury of being set in your ways. It will not work, and it doesn't work. Remember, we said in previous video, the number one reason people return home is because of the inability to adapt to things in a different culture and surroundings. Flexibility is the order of the day, and that is the exact opposite of why people go home. Why didn't anyone tell me about this? Moving to Latin America has taught us that people of another culture are not going to accommodate the foreigner when the foreigner needs accommodated, unless you have boatloads of money to spend, and even then it's iffy. Did you hear about the American guy that spent $80 on a hamburger plate in Rome? Well, there goes the move to paradise on a dime idea, right out the window. The other part of this story is there are some expats that seem helpless. And by this we mean that many have chosen their new land based on keeping up with the Joneses. You know, everyone else is doing it. It must be a good idea, and then when they get down there, they're like fish out of water. We know of expats that even after living in Cuenca, Ecuador for several years, still needed people to take them shopping. It's quite funny because a gringo local bilingual team took advantage of this helplessness from many expats and started to take groups of expats shopping at the poor folks Mercado. Get this. This bilingual gringo team started giving shopping tours of the local outdoor mercado, taking groups of tourists there to buy food, and as a natural consequence, the food at the poor folks stores became more expensive than the big corporate box stores, and that's a true story. We had to quit shopping at the Mercado because the prices got so out of hand. We made several videos about it. It was a clown show.
Well, here's the jumbo ones. They're $11.50, which is less than $6 a pound. It's actually $5 a pound. Yeah, I've always told people, go to the store before you go to any Mercado and check the prices. You know, I've said that for almost 8 years.
So how much is that price per pound? That's $11.56.
$5.
$5, that's a good price.
Why would you go to a outdoor Mercado that some people say smells like vomit when you could just come over here and get it for less?
Kidding, that's a great price.
Look, here's the goose that laid the golden egg. I'm gonna give it to you for free, okay? If you even go to a Mercado, the price has to be 1/3 of the store price. Now, before you fall out of your seat, I'm telling you by experience. You know, you've heard me hint around on some of these last few videos about what's happening at Feria Libre. It's no joke. The gringos push us out. We were, to be clear about it, we were pushed out of Feria. We were pushed out because of the prices, the gringo prices. You know, the place just becomes one big tourist place that's higher than the store. And who the heck wants to go there when you can come here? Right? Nice clean store. So, that's the goose that lays the golden egg. That you go to a outdoor market, you pay 1/3 of the store price or less.
And let us remind you that the Mercado does not have any set prices or anything. That means that 98% of non-Spanish speakers are getting taken advantage of to begin with, even without the group shopping tours. And this is during normal times when gringos are being gringo gouged for food. Imagine when it hits the fan. Now, when things get out of control and you find yourself living in a country where the foreigner is assumed rich during normal times, I'd hate to think what will happen to you and your money during an emergency of any kind happening in that city, town, or country. Like a lockdown. Can't buy food unless you're, you know what, shortages, violent protests. I mean, all of these things need to be taken into account when you move abroad to an unfamiliar territory. Let me be perfectly blunt with you, okay? Expats have challenges living abroad during normal times. Frank and I have so many stories we could tell you it would make your head spin. Some of our shopping stories are interesting because retired older folks are going to the mercados in Latin America by themselves with a purse hanging on their shoulder. Yes, this happens from time to time. For some reason, Americans have this perception that it's safer when they go abroad. But walking around in one of the most dangerous parts of town with a handbag can get you killed in Latin America, depending on where you are. In Cuenca, Ecuador, you probably won't get killed, but your bag will get snatched and you'll probably fall to the ground and have a pretty bad noggin on your head and a strap burn on your neck. It's happened many times with expats. If you like these stories, I have a lot of them. Here's one more before we finish this video about crime. We just wanted to make sure we told you because some people want to know everything up front before they buy. We were helping this older gentleman find a locally priced rental in Cuenca, Ecuador, and we were supposed to meet him at a restaurant in downtown. He showed up and said he needed to go to the ATM because the day before he got robbed of all his cash he had, which was about $300. And we asked him, "How did you get robbed?" And he put his head down in embarrassment, his face getting flushed, and he began to tell us his story. He said he went to the artisan Marcato and pulled out his full money clip out in the open to buy a souvenir. Everything went great, so he thought. On the way to his Airbnb, a bad apple that had obviously spotted his error came up behind him with a knife and asked for his money. He got robbed in broad daylight in Cuenca, Ecuador. He was smart and gave up his money clip. Why do I say he was smart? The thieves work in groups, never alone, and it could have ended badly. They were watching him at the local artisan market. It's filled with Americans because there are some beautiful homemade crafts at this market. And he became a target because he pulled out a money clip with a wad of cash attached to it. This kind of behavior is not advised in Latin America or anywhere nowadays. What you want to do is keep a little bit of money in your pockets and keep the rest in the safe at your apartment. Anyway, we have so many stories. Folks, we're not trying to keep you from moving abroad. We're alerting you to what it really is like. And so if you have ears to hear it, good. And if you don't want to hear it, that's fine too. We want you to make the best choice that is right for you and your situation. That's all. Let us share something with you. Take it as you will. The Travel Retire Abroad media are pushing France and Colombia in 2024, naming them top destinations for retirees in their Global Retirement Index. They're number 9 and 10. Let that sink in. We just wanted to let you know that. If you don't know why we brought that up, we're very concerned about you. So the bottom line of why you want to be in your home country is Americans are targets during normal times. What will happen during worse times when who knows what is going to go down in some of these foreign countries? Just something for our viewers to think about. At least we told you. Okay, everyone, take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.